Everyone is lining up outside, waiting for the interview and chatting. The secretary calls the candidate into the room and the interview starts. A Chinese candidate came in and began the interview. But she doesn't speak the language very well or have enough working experience for the job as an assistant manager. Yet, the boss doesn't mind and still hire the Chinese candidate to be the assistant manager. The boss hired her and offered her a job that she wanted. While the Chinese get the job that she wanted, the Indian and Malay did not. Then the boss explained to the Malay and Indian that they are only hiring Chinese people for the job, and Malay and Indians are hired to be normal employees, even when the Malay and Indian show their qualification. But the boss still turned them down, so the Indian and Malay had to work as a normal employee. The boss summoned the Chinese assistant manager as the head of the project with the Indian and Malay as a group. However, during the process of the group project, the Chinese was slacking off. So one day, when a client was sitting in the office lounge looking confused and unsure about a project, and the Indian and Malay comes in to offer help to the client. It was about a similar project they were doing. The Malay and Indian worker then went to offer the client assistance and the client is grateful, which gave the client a good impression of the Malay and Indian workers because of their knowledge. Halfway through their conversation, the boss walked out of his office and scolded the Malay and Indian worker because they are not doing their job at their cubicle. Instead, they are talking to the client, who was actually the lady boss of another company that the boss was hoping to collaborate with. The Indian and Malay workers felt humiliated, yet said nothing out of fear that they would lose their job. The lady boss was angry and felt pity for the employees, who did nothing to defend themselves. So the lady boss tried to speak up for the two employees, but the boss wouldn't have none of it and refused to listen.
Knowledge of the presentation whatsoever. Feeling flustered and pressured, she turned to the Indian Malay, beckoned them to come forward and take her place instead. The Indian Malay took over, and they began the presentation, showing off their abilities and knowledge to the client. Impressed, the client tries to change the boss's mind, but he refused. Being fed up, she tells him she no longer wishes to collaborate with his company and will find another company instead to collaborate with. The boss tries to change her mind, but she refuses. Instead, she goes to search for the two other employees, the Indian and the Malay. She tells them she's impressed with their abilities and knowledge of the presentation and tells them to come work at her company instead, where she will offer better employment positions. The boss is dejected because of the loss of the collaboration, and his company went bankrupt, leaving him angry and dejected and sad.